Oh boy, this is Olu Fakolade of Idinkai Fa Temple. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. This is Olu Fakolade of Idinkai Fa Temple. Good morning. Oh boy. Good morning to everyone. Thank you all for tuning in. This is Olu Fakolade of Idinkai Fa Temple. Thank you all so much. So I want to send some shout outs and blessings to all those who support the temple, all those who've contributed, all those who are a part of this temple process. Boy, and thank you. So we want to begin with our morning prayers. Mojuba Olorun, Mojuba Leda, Mojuba Loromare, Mojuba Bobo Romale, Mojuba Bobo Male, Mojuba Bobo Egun Timbili, Soloromare, Mojuba Miss Mojuba Sudan's Mare, Mojuba Darson, Mojuba Basement, Mojuba Pidanius, Mojuba Cipilians, Mojuba Dollar, Mojuba Zan, Mojuba Nago, Mojuba Cipilian, Mojuba Kapabak, Mojuba Trinidad, Mojuba Kiriban, Mojuba Skadali, Mojuba James Ovis, Mojuba Benino Chino, Wamjaman, and Black Cadenas, Agustin Gum, and Mojuba Bobo Egun Timbili, Solomare, Ashe. We call on all of our ancestors to support us at this time. At Jog Bay, he hears people's pleas and separate pleas. He hears people's pleas and fruits pleas. He talks to people's children talks is completely rolled. He hears people's pleas and separate pleas named by. He hears people's pleas and fruits pleas named Shodar. He talks to people's children talks completely rolled. His name Boy Shanla. Boy Shanla, he's the first monsoon being. First monsoon cannot tell 10 press one. Strike fogs on some rainfall. Full fogs on some downpour. It is whatever that can radio point to you tells us, or if accept. Whatever the big rat tells us, or if accept. All what I tell you, stop, please accept and approve them. And shit. Ultra-rete, to show gratitude upon gratitude, so our gratitude, to display benevolence upon benevolence, is the of all benevolence. Whoever does not show gratitude, PSA benevolence, such a person will not receive today, these decorations by to phone one room land. We're going to marry your boy, the daughter of Rich Buji. These are also decorations by to a room land. I'm going to marry your boy, daughter of Rich Buji. I'm grateful. I see receive my gratuity. I'm grateful for yesterday's favor. I see today's gratuity. Ultra-rete, we are very grateful. I share. I want to play. Awambure, awandupe o, awambure, adupe anawa obure tunebo, Olodumare, awandupe, awambure, awandupe o, awambure, adupe anawa obure tunebo. Orieni, awa dupe, awa bure, awa dupe, awa bure, adupe, awa bure, tunebo, gulorish, awa dupe, awa bure, awa dupe, awa bure. Adupe ana awobore tunebo irumole awadupe awabore awadupe awabore adupe ana awobore tunebo. Father, we thank you for life, health, strength, food, clothing, and shelter. We thank you for supporting us through challenging times. And Father, we ask that you would forgive us. We ask the Irumole to forgive us and look kindly upon us. Eros Tutu, pounded yam without soup can be very difficult to consume. These were the declarations of Ifa to Tutu, the god of Alexander. He who was full of bad character, he whose bad attitude had prevented him from entering 2,000 women. Now comes to solicit on behalf of the Tutu, to come to beg on behalf of the Tutu. How many children does Ifa have that he will cast one out? Those who beg on behalf of the Tutu. Ogbelara, Orumla says it's time to sleep. I echoed it's time to sleep. When the day dawned, I met Orumla in the 16th room, where he covered his head with a flowing gown full of lice. He was wearing a dress full of bloodstains. He was flowing heavily. They told him that delegate from his type dog. Orumla was proud of what the delegate had brought. They told him they brought 2 rascals for running, 2 fish weights from swimming, 2 birds switching and flight, and 2 ghosts of big livers. Orumla said that's not enough to wake him up. I admit my ignorance. Please educate me. Motion Akaraba. I hide myself in your bosom and survive. Motion Akaraba. The dog can masquerade to be Sagwajon repeatedly. The dog can masquerade to be Sagwajon repeatedly to perform rituals because the children, you are the leaders, we are the followers. Leaders are the ones who show the followers wisdom. Urumla told them to get alligator pepper, to get coconut, to get bitter coconut, to get alcohol. Dear Capo got the alligator pepper, he got the coconut, he got the bitter coconut, and he got the alcohol. That is right, is now he's fully awake. Urumla, when you are fully awake, please look at me with your eyes of compassion. It is with eyes of compassion that the heavenly stars usually look at the stars below. Urumla, when you are fully awake, please look at me with your eyes which help one to secure great wealth. It is such good eyes that the heavenly stars use and look at the stars below. Urumla, when you're fully awake, please look at me with your eyes which help one to secure a good spouse. It's such good eyes my spouse should use and look at me with. Urumla, when you're fully awake, please look at me with your eyes which help one to bear many children. It's such good eyes a child should use to look at a well-decorated plate. Be for long, not too far. Join us in the midst of all event in life. Before we call on the Odu Ifa of Oshe Tura, at this time we ask that you would continue to ward off death, ward off sickness, ward off cases, controversy, ward off fights, litigation, losses, outright fights, ward off witchcraft and negative energy from us, ward off evil, ward off danger, ward off losses, ward off all challenges, ward off all the evil things that this world has brought and conjured against us. Help us to overcome those things at this time with this morning prayer. Help this to assist us in being strong against the face of adversity. We ask also that you would continue to shower us with blessings, shower us with long life, with good health, with the ability to overcome cancer, diabetes, AIDS, high blood pressure, heart disease, hypertension, the Delta virus, coronavirus, all the challenges that are out there in this world, and help us to find good, healthy, holistic solutions, not only for those things, but also for healing our mental state. Help us, Ifa, to find the blessed and the positive way. Oshetra, tiny are the feet of Tubu. Stripe of a chameleon is not big enough to be his headgear. Had it been enough to be his headgear, I would have taken it home and adorned my hair with it. These Ifa's decorations to Aluela and going on spiritual missions to Jebbaland. We've called on locust bean seller and pay her money. We've called on the salt seller and make her rich. We've called on Osherola. Osherola to Garawo. Oshetra. I kick in Bagisa. The axe struck sharply against the tree. Passing from Karumla when he was to receive Ibana share from Olodamar. If in our world tells you should be wealthy, you should surely be wealthy. I kick in Bagisa. The mouth of an one's Ibana share in the mouth of an owl. If no one tells you have joy, you surely have joy. I kick in Bagisa. The mouth of an owl is Ibana share in the mouth of an owl. If no one tells you have peace, you surely have peace. I kick it in Bagisa, the mouth of an owl, Zibana share in the mouth of an owl. If no one tells you have all good things of life, you should surely have all good things of life. I kick it in Bagisa, the mouth of an owl, Zibana share in the mouth of an owl. To Essie, may it be so, surely shall it be. Ashe Orisha lenu mi o, Ashe Orisha lenu mi. Bobo ti mo ba mama wi o, iromole oba. Ifa ọba àṣẹ òrìṣà lẹ́nu mi, àṣẹ òrìṣà lẹ́nu mi o, àṣẹ òrìṣà lẹ́nu mi. Gbogbo tí mo bá màmá wí o, ìrúmọlẹ̀ ó bà. Ifa ọba àṣẹ òrìṣà lẹ́nu mi. Bí mo dúró tí mo súre, bí mo bẹ̀rẹ̀ tí mo súre, bí mo kúnlẹ̀ tí mo súre. Bimo joko timo shure, ire timo su oriti bo. Bimo duro timo shure, bimo mbere timo shure, bimo shure, timo shure, bimo joko timo shure, ire timo su oriti bo. At this time, let us hold on to our heads. Orieni larure yeni o, Orieni larure yeni, mojulo milfawa mori, Orieni larure yeni, Orieni larure yeni o, Orieni larure yeni, mojulo milfawa mori, Orieni larure yeni. Bobo inetiasu, Ifá ọba lọ́run, àtìbàjájú, Ifá ọba lọ́run, ó ṣe àrú ìlà Ifá ti bọ́. Bobo rẹ̀ ṣáàṣù, Ifá ọba lọ́run, màtájú, Ifá ọba lọ́run, ó ṣe àrú ìlà Ifá ti bọ́. Olodumare and the divinities, we have invoked your name, we've called on you, we've given thanks, we've given praise, we've asked forgiveness, we've asked for the things that we need in our lives. At this time, we ask that you would continue to ward off sickness, cases, controversies, ward off fights, litigation, losses, ward off the evil things and challenges from us at this time. Help us to see purpose in the pain and help us to persevere. Guide us in having good long lives, good spouses, good children, peace of mind, joy, healing, victory over all adversity. Ashe, Aboro, Aboye, Aboshishe, Aboto. All right. Good morning. I pray that everyone's doing well today. Today, we have a very interesting topic, and it is fear. Basically overcoming the fear of death, but deeper than that, fear itself. But I want to give love and shout outs to those people who have supported us with this temple process, my Oluo and Baba Ifa, Solagbare Popola. I want to send love and respect to Oluo Jose Rodriguez, one of my other Baba Ifas, Olunla, Irawi Ifa, also for my family and loved ones, my teachers in the form of my parents, Catherine Edmonds, Robert Edmonds, my wife, Taylor, my sister, Awojola, Ifayemi, Annette Phillips. We want to send love and shout outs to Denise, to her mother Susanna, to Jax, to Zayden, to Tanda Sizwe Shimaringa. Thank you for your help and support. To Maritza Clay, to Ifadara, to Emmanuel. So many people that we want to send love and shout outs to Tamani, and all of these families that are represented. We want to send blessings to all of you and thank you for your support as being part of Idinka Ifa Temple. So in terms of that, as I said before, today's sermon topic is fear itself. Ifa, death, and overcoming fear. So this is a topic that is very close at hand because so many of us have experienced major losses in the last year. So let us get together and use this moment as a time to heal. Olodumare, we ask that you would continue to ward off death, ward off sickness, ward off cases, controversy, ward off fights, losses, all challenges from us, and bring to us long life, good spouse, good children, longevity, prosperity, victory over adversity, peace of mind, joy, all the wonderful things of life. We also ask at this time, Olodumare, that you would support us in having a good temple service. We ask that you would push away all negative things, all things that would keep us from reaching a good space, that would keep us from getting to the crux of what Ifa is in this very moment. We ask that you would move my ego out of the way so that we can hear a good word of Ifa from you. Emma kami meni amo, Emma kami meni ano, Emma kami meni adelokun, Kamule, Tori Ifa lonini, Ebora timpanini, Eni banami, Aon ati Ifa lelejo, Ashe. So, this is a very, very serious topic. Fear itself. And in terms of this, I just want to begin by saying that this year and last year have been years of intense loss. Intense loss in the sense of what we've experienced with the coronavirus, COVID-19, intense in the sense of the disconnection of family members, loved ones, friends as a result of that. And then just the challenging tragedy of losing so many people in such a short amount of time. And along with that, how do we process this situation of Eku and how do we deal with it? Because Eku is death is a necessary process, but along with it being a necessary process, it has its time. Everyone, all of us, will one day pass away because this place is in essence not our home. When we look at this, what we are looking at also is the Odu Ifa Oyekushe Ifa says, if we do not die young, we will be happy. But if we live a long life in poverty, we'll be sad. Anytime death comes, let us be grateful to God. That is the policy of a truthful person. This was the declaration of Ifa to the 6 elders when they were going to the city of Ife to ask questions of Orunmila. Why are human beings dying? Orunmila responded that Olodumare used death as benevolence for human beings. Any river that does not flow forward and does not flow backwards, that river becomes a pond, and that pond becomes full of filth. And that pond, when it becomes so full of filth, the river must begin to carry them forward. And that river, that spiritual river, is carrying them backwards. Let the invalid go to Orun and bring back a new body into this world. What Ifa is saying here is that when people reach a ripe point, when the body breaks down in such a way that it loses its function, Eku is like a savior in the sense that it assists in carrying beings back to Orun so that they can then be reborn, so that they can then come back to earth with a new body, with a new position, and all of these things. Ifa says that process of Eku is necessary. That aspect of Eku is a necessary thing. Everything has to go and come back. Everyone. Because in essence, this place isn't the place that we were born. This is merely a transitory place. Ifa says in Oyeku Logbe, a tree knot fears no rain. Cast Ifa for Olodumare Agotun, the king who would build a well-balanced earth. The king who built a balanced earth that could not be broken up. When he was planning to build a marketplace on water. Behold, if you get to earth, do not forget heaven. Earth is but a marketplace. Heaven is our home. In this Ifa is saying so many powerful things. One of those powerful things is that this place is truly not home. This is merely the marketplace. This is the place that we go to learn things, the place that we go to transform, and then come back, and then go back again. And when we think about that, that Odu Ifa of Oyeku Logbe says, a tree knot fears no rain. What does that mean? A tree knot is like basically the knot on a tree, any kind of bulb on that tree. When we say a tree knot fears no rain, that is actually an alias for Orunmila. What that also means is the rain is not going to wash away that tree knot. That tree knot is going to continue to exist regardless. And this is speaking about how Orunmila is. Orunmila is constant. Olodumare is constant. So when we look at that aspect, the other thing that we must focus on is that we have an essence. We have a soul and a spirit, and that soul and spirit is the thing that is constant. So as we transition through life, that verse gives us an idea of what we should focus on. What should you focus on? Should your focus be on the material world? Or should it be on building positive legacy? Should we worry more so about what we're doing today, or what people will say about us when we're gone? What I mean by that is, I think oftentimes about living your life backwards. What do I mean by that? Live your life in a way that you are conscious of the moves that you're making, conscious of the that you are affecting people. And Ifa says that we should come into this world and bring more good into the world than that was there before. There's still so much good in Orun that needs to be brought to the world. What do we mean by that? Cures for disease, the ways and new perspectives of healing, ways and new perspectives of transforming people's lives, making people laugh and smile. When we think about the title, or the Ifa umbrella group that Idinka and all the temples here in the diaspora under Chipopola are under, that name is Shekunderin. Shekunderin means the one who made this. Sekunderin is also an alias for Orunmila. It means the one who made smiles out of frowns, or the one who made people laugh when they could have been or should have been crying. What does that mean? We want to come and bring more joy into the world. We want to leave this earth with more smiles than there were frowns. And that's the thing that I mean when I say live your life in reverse. Think about how you're affecting people so that when you go, people will speak highly of you. What does this also mean? We are trying to be elevated beings. We want to be individuals who people will speak highly of us, speak highly of our legacy when we go. We want to be those kinds of people. That is Orisha. Every Orisha that we know of, Orisha, not Irumole, but every Orisha that we know of, all of those Orisha existed on earth. Some of them were human beings. Some of them were trees. Some of them were rivers. They existed on earth, and what they did is they affected people in a way that they left a legacy of character, to the point where folks decided, when I want to have this kind of particular ashe in my life, I'm going to call on that person's name. I'm going to elevate that person and call on them so that that energy will also support me. I can be like that individual. Yemunja, ye yemunja. Mother who has children as abundant of fish in the sea. Orisha. This woman left a legacy of character. That river left the legacy of character that assisted so many people. And as they assisted so many people began to call their names when they passed. You think about it today, we have other Orisha or other individual who left a powerful legacy of character. We look at Malcolm X, we look at Martin Luther King, we look at Ida B. Wells Barnett. So many have left a legacy of character for us to follow. And we honor them, and as we honor them, we awaken that greatness and that goodness within ourselves. That is in essence what Ifa is speaking of. When we go in the Odu Oyekushe, Ifa says you will account for all you have done. Ifa says Iku, death is necessary. It is a process. Everything must go and come back. In the Odu Oshe Ofun, Ifa recognizes that we are a part of the cycle of life. Ifa says, the Awo Valara Kasifa for Oba of Alara Mokin, Agberu Ofin Kasifa for Ajero Oba of Ajero land. The time I was supposed to die, my Ori said no. That was the Ifa cast for Orangu Aga, who was the Oba of Ilala land. The flood was going and was passing through the frontage of the house, but never branched into the house. Had it branched into the house, it would have said farewell before it left the house. This was the message of Ifa for Olodumare, the Oba of this world. And the same was cast for Olodumare, the Oba, or the king of Orun, of heaven. Both of them were offering a bow so that their gatherings would swell. When we die in this world, it is the Ebo of Olodumare, the king of Orun, that had been accepted. When we give birth to new babies in this world, it is the Ebo of Olodumare, the king of this world, whose Ebo had been accepted. Travelers to Ipo and Ofa town. Travelers go and return. If we go in the morning, we will return when it is nighttime. Ifa is saying here that every birth is a death. When babies are born here in Orun, they are crying because it is a death to them. When people pass away here, we are crying because we miss them. We're hurt by the loss. But in Orun, they are rejoicing. In heaven, they're praising and rolling out the drums. Ifa says that Iku is necessary. Now, as we analyze this point of the necessary aspect of Iku, Iku is not an Irumole. Iku is merely a fact of life. But how do we deal with Iku? What does Ifa say in terms of living this life and overcoming it? Because Iku also is one of the Ajogun. We have death, sickness, conflicts and fights, losses. These are all Ajogun. But how do we overcome these things? What does Ifa say? Ifa says that each human being, we should The average life expectancy of humans, according to IFA, is somewhere in the neighborhood of 150 to 200 years. That is the average life, according to IFA, that is the average life expectancy for human beings. That sounds crazy, right? Why does that sound crazy? Because for the most part, we aren't living lives like that. What does that mean? The reality is that when we live, when we come into this world, I say that on a large level, we are not being, we're not either following taboo or we're doing things that could shorten our lifespan. What does that mean? Things that will shorten your lifespan, those are taboo. Ifa also says that the thing that shortens life, if our lives are supposed to be at least 200 to 150 years, that means along the way, there are things that are engaging and cutting many lives short. Many people are dying before their time. Why? Ifa says that it is over engagement and taboo that makes one to die. It isn't even death that's killing them. The issue that is killing many of us is overindulgence in taboo. When we die, when it is a premature death. So as we look at that aspect of the premature idea of Iku, what is the way that we prevent that? How do we know what our taboos are so that we can try to follow them so that we can live the best and long life, enjoyable life that we can? Ifa initiation is one of those things. Ifa initiation is one of the ways that we understand and know what our taboos are, what we need to do in order to help find, follow, and fulfill our destiny. So in terms of that, Ifa initiation is so important. Not only Ifa initiation, but also divination. Divination. When we cast Ifa and Ifa says Iku, the thing of it is at that moment, don't be afraid. Just take the necessary steps at that moment in time to push away Iku. When I say that when we talk about Iku, it is inevitable, but there are ways to push death away. There are ways to keep Iku up off of you. Following your advice of Ifa, following your taboo, eating right. You know, when we look at some of the things in terms of how they prepare food in America, many of my family kind of gets crazy with me because I look at the labels a lot of times. I overlook at the labels and I'm reading the labels. All these labels, all these foods have perhaps, you get hash browns in the store. And why is it that hash browns have like 20 ingredients in them? It's just potatoes that are, frozen hash browns are, they're going to be potatoes, but you have preservatives. They have all these coatings. They have all these things that they fed the potato before it even got cut up to be fried, to be put in a frozen state to be sold to you. So when we look at those things, much of what we consume in America is taboo for us. It's poisonous to us. So how do we then go back and retrace those steps so that we can assist in lengthening our life and having a better quality of life? Knowing our taboos, trying to eat right, getting good exercise, seeing our herbalist, acupuncturist, or your healthcare provider. Those are ways that we can do the best to elongate our life and enhance and have a better quality of life. And also being patient, being slow to anger. Anger is something that can get us into a situation where we will die quickly. Losing your temper, not being so on boastful and front street. These things are ways that can protect us from dying prematurely. Taking things slowly as you're driving on the road, not to go within a haste. Also to check with Ifa before you go. There's so many ways to delay that process. In Ifa says in the Odu Ogbeka, I say Ogbeka re kakaja, Ogbe, let us go into the inner room for a fight. That was the Ifa cast for Orunmila when going to challenge death to a duel in the main compound. He was advised to offer a bow. He complied. We have hit death with our bow staff. We have touched death with fear, panic, and confusion. When we talk about that in that verse, Ifa is saying Orunmila had a duel with death. Orunmila got into it with death. He was fighting death. And when he got into this duel, he basically was trying to show people who had dominion over Iku. So he challenged death to a duel, and everyone was like, "Oh my God, Orunmila, you can't do that. If you do that, death's going to kill you." Orunmila did two very critical things. He cast Ifa before the duel, and when he cast that Ifa, he offered a bow. Part of the bow was for him to take a stick, and he was supposed to sleep with the stick underneath his head. And what happened when the fight happened, the paint that he put on that stick, or the coloring that he put on that stick, he went to fight death, and he hit death, and what was on the stick got on death, and death was shook and was like, "What is this?" He put fear into death itself. This is telling us that fear is much more worse than death. Living a life in fear, living a life in fear of whatever, because that then undercuts the energy of the Irumole in our life. If we're walking around in fear and also doubt, the energy that the prosperity that you got that was destined to you by Olodumare, now you with your own energy, you've undercut all of that prosperity, because Ifa might require you to act and take a leap of faith, but if fear overcomes you, you won't move. Fear is a very paralyzing factor. Interesting how Orunmila hit fear with death, or hit death with fear. Fear is the real culprit when we talk about overcoming these issues of Iku. In the Odu Ogbe Fun Ifa says, Olowowo Ijowo, he was the Awo cast Ifa for Iku, and revealed the same for Ero, fear. He also cast Ifa for Orunmila when he was in the midst of enemies, and when he was in constant fear of the Ajogun. He was advised to offer a bow. He complied. Now, Owowo Jidi Ojowo, if I see Iku, I will crush him. Oluwowo, GDG, Oluwowo. If I sight Harun, I will crush him. Oluwowo, GDG, Oluwowo. If I see Ejo conflicts, I will destroy him. Oluwowo, GDG, Oluwowo. It is my wish to see Ofo, for me to crush him. Oluwowo, OGD, Oluwowo, travelers to Ipono Town. Join us where we have victory over all of our enemies. Both Iku and fear have no power over us. Ashe. So in this Ifa, one of the things that happened was Eku had come against Orunmila. Death had come against Orunmila and wanted to collect his head. Part of the abo on this Odu is 200 snails. And when we think about these snails aren't small. The snails that we talk about in Ifa, they're Igbin. These snails are like the size of my hand. They're much larger than the snails out here. So part of the abo is that. And then when you take those shells, after you have made the feeding of the ritual with those shells, then you tie those shells to a string on a staff. And so in terms of this, Orunmila was told not to be afraid. And also to, when he offered the abo, to carry this staff and hit that staff on the ground. And he was walking around and basically being boisterous and boastful in the sense of, if I see death, I'm gonna crush him. And he was hitting that thing on the ground, boom, boom, boom. And death was going around collecting skulls, heads, in other words. And Orunmila was walking around stomping this staff with these snail shells on it, and I can only imagine the sound of it. And the sound scared death. The sound scared the Ajogun. Why? Because they began thinking like, wow, we're going up against Orunmila, and this guy has more skulls than us. We only killed a few people. Orunmila's walking around, man, that sounds like 1,000 skulls he's hitting with that staff. What Ifa is saying here is there are particular means, particular ways that we have to approach these Ajogun, these negative forces. We have to know what their weakness is. What is the weakness of Iku? What is the weakness of losses? What is the weakness of conflicts? What puts fear into them? Because we cannot walk in fear. We cannot live in fear. We have to walk in confidence and boldness and recognize that we are, in essence, the children of the Irumole. We are the children of Ifa. And being the children of Ifa, why is there a need to have any fear of anything that comes against you? I keep thinking about that process of overcoming fear, and I think about one of the rituals that I ended up having to perform one of the trips that I was in Nigeria. And this is a ritual of, we call it the ritual of Ogunda Ako. And Ifa says in that we are basically begging and praying for forgiveness from Orunmila. But along with that powerful, powerful ritual, we have to put our complete and total trust in Ifa. For me, before I went through that ritual process or understanding, I felt like I was pretty solid. I felt like I had faith in Ifa. I felt like I was, yes, I believe. But after that very powerful ritual and internalizing that ritual, I developed something else. It's almost like an Ifa superpower faith, in the sense that it be my faith and my understanding of that faith, in my opinion, became fanatic, ridiculous. What I mean by that, and I don't mean those words in a bad way. I mean them in a way that my mindset was transformed, in a sense that I don't care what your doctor says. I don't care what the finance department says. It's what Ifa says. That's it. They might say, well, we're going to give you this loan, sir. Ashe, my Ifa didn't say that, though.
Ashe.
And honestly, and it might sound crazy, but the more faith and devotion that I applied to Ifa and God when I came into a situation of difficulty, Olodumare somehow would just open it up and work it out. Somehow it would the situation would transform. And by having this mindset of not fearing, it opened up so much faith. So when I say don't have any fear, I don't mean don't have any common sense. I don't mean, okay, I'm gonna go into the Rolling 60s neighborhood wearing all red. Or I'm gonna go into the lion's den with meat strapped to my body. No, I'm not saying be stupid. I'm saying you've handled your Ebo. You are following your destiny path. You have found it, you following it. I'm saying have no fear in fulfilling your destiny.
Ashe.
Have no fear in walking the path that is destined for you. Because if you are in alignment with that, nothing can stop you. It might be able to delay you, but nothing can stop you. What is that? I mean, when I say those things, it's radical. A radical level of faith in Olodumare, a radical level of faith in the Irumole. And it doesn't mean stupidity. What I mean by that is if there's illness, Ifa is saying, okay, here are the herbal preparations. Here is the life regimen that you must take. Do that and now offer Ebo. Now, at Ichitarogun, check to see is everything okay. Check and see. That's what that means. You could go to the doctor, you go to your herbalist, your iridologist, go to those people and follow the regimen. But trust in the aspects that Ifa has set for you. Trust that. Trust that. Don't equivocate. Don't be like, man, this is crazy. Ifa told me to take. I remember one time I had to bring back a medicine for someone, and the medicine, you had to fill it up. It was probably this big, and you had to fill it up with this much of the medicine, and the rest had to be palm oil. And you had to take a teaspoon of that in the morning and in the night until it was done. And it was like, this is nasty. But what I'm saying is, in the midst of the madness, hold on to that thing. What I'm saying is, in the midst of the madness, hold on to the constant. Hold on to the tree knot that doesn't fear any rain.
Ashe.
Hold on to Oyigi Yigi, Ota, the stone, the stone of deathlessness. Hold on to that. These are the things we want to hold on to when we are losing our minds, because losing your mind is akin to iku. We want to hold on to that thing which will keep us from losing it.
Ashe.
So with that, I want to say Aboro Aboye, Aboshishe. Thank you so much. Ifa will elevate us. So with that said, I just want to make a couple of announcements. So those of you who like and enjoy the things that we're doing with Idinka Ifa Temple, please support. Will be all the information is below the screen. If you'd like to support, make donations, anything, please do so there. Coming up on this Thursday is going to be Itarogun. So very early on Thursday morning, if you want to, I'll do a live cast of that. And when you want to contribute after we before we offer the above, please make your contributions on the website. This week, the class, our Friday night class, is going to be postponed because I will be away, but we will resume the following week, which will be in late July, early August. So we'll resume at that point. Also, for those of you who are interested, we're doing a group. I canceled the first meeting, and this next meeting that we're going to be doing is I'm going to keep the date, and I believe it is the 22nd of July, and that is for the makings of men. So we're going to be doing work to support the elevation of men, and this is an Ifa Men's study group and rites of passage. So that will happen on July 22nd, 6 p.m. to 7 p.m. You can contact me for more information, and or you can reach out to the website and schedule it. You can click the link there and be a part of that. So all of those things are things that will be coming up, and we hope that you will be a part of those. We look forward to all of you being involved and enjoying and participating in the beauty and the power of Ifa. We're also so thankful because Chief Popola was just in town, and he shared so many great things with us. We did a tefa. We will have more atefas coming in the fall. Those of you who are interested, Idinka is also going to be preparing a class for individuals who want to be initiated to Ifa. So if you are interested in that, please communicate with us. That will be an additional class that will come up. So with that, I want to say thank you once again for all that you have done, all of your support. Thank you all very, very, very much. I want to end with prayer. Olodumare, please ward off all that, ward off sickness, ward off cases, controversy, ward off fights, litigation, losses, and outright fights from us. Help us at this time to recognize that our true faith, our true devotion to you is much more important than fear. Help us not to have any fear of anything, but replace that fear with faith. Replace that fear with akoshe. Replace that fear with remedies. Help us to have solutions to the problems that plague us and know that we too have power over the negative things in our life if we only reach into the wisdom of Ifa. Aboru, Aboye, Aboshishe. Thank you all so very much. We look forward to seeing you next time, next month. Aboru boy.